Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
Lock the door. Lock the door. Take away the key. Take away my liberty. Little kids wearing masks. Food lines for hours, hours. You can't pay the rent. You haven't got a cent. We got you where we want you. You'll never know the real truth.
What we're now getting from the Cathedral of the State is, don't go down the rabbit hole, y'all. Critical thinking, as we're taught to do it, isn't helping in the fight against misinformation. For academic, now if you see this in any kind of article for an academic, now these are these people that get these sheepskins for thinking of it's a state of idiocracy. Mr. Caulfield, a digital literacy expert at the Washington State University of Vancouver. More people are fighting for the opportunity to lie to you than perhaps at any other point in human history. Misinformation rides the greased algorithmic rails of powerful social media platforms and travels at velocities and in volumes that make it nearly impossible to stop. That alone makes information warfare, which is what the mainstream media does to us all the time. That's what the government does to us all the time. An unfair fight for the average internet user. This is absolutely true. The information warfare that's being done by our mainstream media, this guy right here, Charlie Warzel, Mr. Warzel, he's one of the soldiers for this disinformation. The way we are taught, let's go on down. The way we are taught from young age to evaluate and think critically about information is fundamentally flawed and out of step with the chaos of the current internet. And then he goes on to talk about, in order to protect ourselves from the bad information, we needed to deeply engage with stuff that is in front of us. We feel like, we need to go down every little rabbit hole. He suggested that you'll get imperfect information and then using reasoning to fix that somehow. But in reality, the strategy can completely backfire. In other words, he thinks you're just going to take a bunch of information, you're not really going to check it out, and then you're going to use a little bit of reasoning to figure out that you got imperfect information. He says nobody's going to go find sources and original sources and what they're saying. But he wants you to resist the lure of rabbit holes. Stay away from it. Get all the news that you can get from mainstream media. The New York Times and Fox News and PMSNBC, MSL, LSD, and all those. So he doesn't want us to critically think. So let's go see what critical thinking is. Now, here's Wikipedia, and you got to take that with a grain of salt, but sometimes you can look at all kinds of things and find out. Critical thinking is the analysis of facts to form a judgment. The analysis of facts. Now, so you got to go find what a fact is. You got to go down the rabbit hole, and the rabbit hole of sources. The subject is complex in several different definitions, which generally include the rational, skeptical, unbiased analysis or evaluation of factual evidence, finding the evidence, the source documents. Critical thinking is self-directed, self-disciplined, self-monitored, and self-corrected. Does any of that make you wonder why they don't want you to do it? It's self. It's not collective. You're not getting it from the cathedral of the state. What else can we find? Ooh, the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy. Critical thinking. Critical thinking is a widely accepted educational goal. Its definition is contested, but the competing definitions can be understood as differing concepts of the same basic concept. Careful thinking directed to a goal. Conceptions differ with respect of scope of such thinking, the type of goal, the criteria, and norms for thinking carefully, and thinking components of which they focus. Its adoption as an educational goal has been recommended on the basis of respect for students' autonomy and preparing students for success in life for democratic citizenship. Ooh, they don't want an informed electorate. Don't you hate these pop-up? Foundation for critical thinking, defining critical thinking. So thinking is a rich concept that has been developing through the past 2,500 years. The term critical thinking has its roots in mid-late 20th century. Below we offer overlapping definitions defined by the National Council for Excellence. Critical thinking, 1987. Critical thinking is intellectually disciplined process of actively and skillfully conceptualizing, applying, analyzing, synthesizing, and or evaluating information gathered from or generated by observation, experience, reflection, reasoning, or communication as a guide to belief and action. In its exemplary form, it is based on a universal intellectual values that transcend subject matter divisions: clarity, accuracy, precision, consistency, relevant, sound evidence, good reasons, depth, breadth, and fairness. See, they don't want any of this. Why are they telling us to stop thinking? So that they can continue all these crazy COVID-19 and lockdowns and printing money like crazy and ruining the economy and the Great Reset. Critical thinking is a process of carefully and systematically analyzing problems to find ways to solve them. They don't want us solving they want to solve the problems. And guess what? You won't own anything, but you'll be happy in a new Klaus Schwab. So what is it? Don't go down the rabbit hole, y'all. Don't go down the rabbit hole. Listen to the Fauci-Wouchies. Listen to Joe Biden. Listen to your local health authorities who are listening to the people that own them. Just another adventure in Idiocracy. Till next time, Jeff Maddox.
Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
Like the door, like haven't got a cell